Hello everyone, welcome back to Real Life Struggles. Sorry about the delay in videos. It was very busy end of the last month. School's wrapping up here in China and I have a lot of work to get done, but I'm back. Today we're going to try, for I don't know, 4th, 5th time, to do our meme reacting video. I've tried recording this and something always went wrong. But I do believe my microphone is working good, my capture is set up nicely, so let's get going. We're going to look at some young Earth creationist memes and I'll give my opinion on them, and hopefully you're entertained. Alright, our first one, arguing with the creationists is like, and we got Adam and Eve in the garden with some vicious dinosaurs that are only eating plants. It's like trying to get a hoarder to give up their stuff. I am actually going to 100% agree with that. As a former younger creationist, it took me a long time to leave young Earth creationism, become an old Earth creationist, become agnostic on evolution, and now pretty much I would say I'm a theistic evolutionist. I haven't really released the video. I might do that sometime soon. But it is very hard to get somebody to leave young Earth creationism. But it is tied so much into God in the Bible, and if you don't believe Genesis, you're not going to believe anything in the Bible, and you're not even a real Christian. That's what a lot of people say, and that's what's really hard to get past your belief. I would say for anyone out there who is making the same journey I did, pick up some books by John Walton. He explains things very well. It's possible to believe in creationism and evolution at the same time. The modern world. If those kids could read, they'd be very upset. I totally agree. In fact, there's a couple of new YouTubers I've been listening to, and they dabble a bit into that. The false dichotomy of it's only God and young Earth creationism, 6-day creation, or you're just a bad atheist who hates God. And that's untrue. The founder of evolution believed in God. I think he was a deist, so, I mean, he would have been one that said, God got it in motion and then just kind of stepped back and let it do its thing. But he started life as a deist, and I'll throw the quote up here in editing. But he even said that God was probably the source of the first thing that started to evolve. So to say evolution is atheistic is just ignorant. Which, along with claiming the Big Bang, is the atheist attempt to get rid of God. It was started by a Catholic priest. How did Australian animals migrate all the way to the Middle East to get on a rickety wooden boat for 40 days and then return? Think, Kent, think! Yeah, for those of you who don't know, Kent Hovind is one of the worst young Earth creationist apologists. He knows no science. He's the Dunning-Kruger effect in full force. And, he claims that the entire book of Genesis should be read literally. I can say I have heard some answers in Genesis. People claim that the animals, they got back to Australia by riding on a little raft made of vegetation or pieces of wood. Kind of ridiculous if you ask me. But however they got there, if animals really did migrate all the way to Australia after the Earth crust had broken up and moved all the continents, according to their theory, then we should have a steady stream of fossils from the Middle East to Australia. And we do not find that. They are only made it to Australia. Every cell in our body is like a workshop full of machines. We got a cell there with all the little pieces. Darwin's test, if it could be demonstrated that any complex organ existed was not, could not have been formed by numerous successive slight modifications, my theory would absolutely break down. Darwin was in the species, and they're saying Darwin had no way of complexity of the cells. Well, we can answer, well, first off, let's look at the flow, and then we will see what he says. Alright, so one thing to keep in mind when a younger creationist is supposedly told him something, the best thing to do is to continue reading. because they are the absolute best at fairy tales. So here's the actual quote. If it could be demonstrated that any complex organ existed, which could not possibly have been formed by numerous successive slight modifications, my theory would absolutely break down. That's where they stop the quote. Let's read the next line. I can find no such case. So, the first part is completely obvious. Now, let's look up a couple dates. Okay, so we have here, Charles Darwin's Theory of Evolution by Natural Selection was first published in his book On the Origin of Species, which was released on November 24th, 1859. Alright, so remember that. 1859, let's remember that date. Microscope was invented in 1590, so 300 years before Darwin. The cell was first discovered by Robert Hooke in 1665, so we're looking at 200 years after they discovered the cell. Darwin comes up with this theory, and they're trying to claim Darwin wouldn't know when they had a microscope and had looked at the cell. So that is complete freaking hogwash. Alright. So, the next one here, evolution is just a theory. Evolution is both a fact and a theory because unlike in religion, we are willing to accept that our understanding might change in the future when new evidence contradicts our findings before that point. However, evolution is the most studied scientific theory and it has been more than 100 years since the scientific theory has been disproven. Yeah, so there's two different ways to talk about a theory. The kind of common way of thinking of theory is like the Sherlock Holmes. Like, you know, I have a theory. Who killed Mr. Smith? It was Mrs. Smith in the library with the candlestick. So there's that kind of theory, like basically an educated guess. In science, though, a theory is actually the highest level you can reach. It's the thing that has the absolute most support and evidence, has been thoroughly tested, and it's failed to have been debunked. And you know what else is a theory? Gravity, germs, relativity. Nobody says, well, germs are just a theory, so I'm going to not wash my hands after sitting on the toilet. I mean, that's just stupid. Creationists arguing the universe is fine-tuned, all the hostile natural forces trying to kill us. Yeah. You know, however you believe the Earth and universe came around, be thankful we have stuff like an atmosphere, and, you know, an ozone layer, the magnetic field. All of those things are directly responsible for there being life on Earth. If that wasn't there, we'd all be dead from cosmic radiation. Reasons why people are creationists. The blue misunderstands the science. Orange doesn't care what science says anyway. I will say yes to the orange if you put that with religion. You know, the only reason I was a younger creationist was because I was raised in the church that believed in it, and family that believed in it, and still believes in it. I'm probably the only one in my family who's religious and accepts one age and evolution and stuff like that. And so, yeah, once your religion tells you you can either believe in religion or science, you know, the fear of losing your religion will make you deny lots of things. And that's another reason why I started my videos. Tag there. Another reason for starting videos about why you shouldn't listen to certain younger creationist apologists, because this kind of thing, you can either believe in God or evil atheistic science is what drives people out of the church and keeps them out in the first place. Okay, so we got domain, kingdom, phylum, class, order, family, genus, species, eukaryote, animal, chordata, mammal, primates, hominid, homo, homo sapiens, creationist. So yeah, a lot of younger creationists, especially younger creationist leaders, they will cut it off right at the kingdom level. Humans are not animals. Animals are completely separate things from humans. We're some special creation, which I do think we're special in God's eyes. But the fact is, we are animals. We're not plants. We can't produce energy from the sun. We're too big to be bacteria. And we move way too much to be a fungus, so that leaves animal. You can say we're more than animals. You can say we have things that other animals don't, but the fact is, we are primates. Only 26% of Americans think humans came into existence in the last 10,000 years. 56% believe Adam and Eve were real people. That's a bit of a false dichotomy. You can believe that humans came into existence through evolution a few 100,000 years ago. And you can also believe Adam and Eve were real people. Dr. Hugh Ross, who's a very famous, well-known creationist, actually really still like him, even though I spent the part of evolution that he did. And he believes Adam and Eve were real people. He just believes that they lived a lot longer, probably between 100 and 200,000 years ago. And that there's a massive gap in the Bible. And they trace people, and that's okay, because Jewish people weren't making the family tree, they're just letting out who is the most important and the people. Or there's also some theistic evolutionists that either A, believe Adam and Eve were real people, and that a few 100,000 years ago, when Homo sapiens kind of really became what they are now, that God just made humans special. Or go all the way up to 6,000 years ago. And that basically the timelines of everything is correct in the Bible. It's just Adam and Eve were the first people. They were the first people that God gave the soul to and so, and honestly, I'm not really sure where I am on that. I think pretty much all of them are God. They would all fit within a biblical framework, as long as it's actually in the Jewish people lived in at that time. Two Jewish people. Atheistic abiogenesis. I bet the distant ancestor of all mankind was made from something random and inanimate, like dust, younger creation. No. Yeah, so God finds these things supporters through Book of Genesis describes the creation of man, that God created him from dust and he breathed the life into his body. So that's good. Car runs on fossil fuel, burns fossil fuel, Earth is 4,000 years old. 4,000 years, even with the global growth, it's not enough time to Younger creationist was that snakes once had legs. Happy 150 years. So this is one of those things that's not specifically in the Bible. It's just something that they kind of come up with by interpretation. So the Bible talks about the serpent being the most crafty thing ever. And then after the fall of man, God curses the serpent and tells him he's going to fall on his belly for the rest of his life. So younger creationists interpret that as all snakes have legs. One of them was possessed by Satan. And then after he calls Adam and Eve to fall, God magically controls all the other snakes. Some of the things that people come up with, which I can't blame them for. And in fact, answers in Genesis in their creation of the world are just like I said that right. Basically, snake man with legs, like full human-sized snake man with legs in the creation. You don't believe what people from 2,000 years ago say happened 2,000 years ago, but we believe that something like 2015 says happened 4,000 years ago. Well, here's the thing. People from 2,000 years ago had pretty much no... Well, 2,000 years ago would be... Alright, let's back that up. So the meme's not even... It should say something more like, you don't believe what people from 6,000 years ago say happened 6,000 years ago. But the people that wrote the story, told the stories that were compiled into the Bible, they didn't really have a lot of scientific knowledge. The book of Genesis really pretty much said the earth was flat and had a giant dome over it that was keeping the waters inside the earth from mixing with the waters that were outside the earth. And it goes back to basically the ancient Near Eastern people had this idea that everything was complete chaos, and God ordered the chaos to form the universe. And so water represents chaos. You had to get the chaotic elements out of the way so you can make something. Yeah, I mean, I do believe what they said, I just don't believe it's a scientific textbook like a lot of people do. And the reason that I would believe that someone from 2015 or 2025 or any time within the last couple hundred years says happened 4 billion years ago is because we're really good at gathering evidence and making observations. We have a telescope that can appear 13 billion light years away or more. So if we can see it as it was tens of billions of years ago, then guess what? Yeah, I'm going to believe that. Go and bury all this mess, and don't forget the proper order. Beta biota near the very bottom. That's by some dinosaurs. Dad, it's going to take like millions of years. So this is After Eden. It's a really funny series of cartoons if you're somewhat religious. You don't even have to be religious. I mean, it's still funny. They obviously have a younger creational slant, but I enjoy humor, and that doesn't completely fit my beliefs. But yeah, it's funny how a flood that was violent enough to destroy all of Earth, everything that breathed, rip up all the plants, break the crust into pieces, and then shove it at basically race car speeds, was also jumping enough to put the animals into a jetpack other than meant to be. Exactly so evolution happened. Creationism. Billions of years plus natural selection impossible. 6 days plus magic beer man? Yes. Again, I have humor, so if something folks want to my beliefs, I don't care. But, I mean, this is, if the angel of the Lord in the New Testament, if the angel of the Lord in the New Testament really was pre-incarnate Jesus, then why not in the New Testament? How could Noah possibly fit dinosaurs on the ark? How is it possible for the mother to be Earth to you? Even the largest creatures were once small. Yeah, but there's a problem, and thanks to that dinosaur, we possibly got 6 ribbons, but we heard that the dinosaur talked about this in one of his videos. Yeah, so that guy's mom picked him out as, maybe a 9-12-pound baby. But what would have happened if the mom disappeared and we just put the baby in the room setting? Number 1, the baby's probably going to die. Number 2, even if you could take care of the baby long enough to grow up, animals, many animals that grow up without some kind of parental units, they pretty much turn out to be jerks. They're not going to socialize. They're not going to know what to do. If you put a bunch of real animals into a parking driver in Kentucky, Genesis, fill that thing with all of the animals that supposedly were in the ark, and then send 8 employees in there for a year to take care of them, you're probably going to come out with a lot of things. Behold my infallible creation! Also, your name is that's kind of like one of the first ones, but yeah, so, cool on God for giving us ozone and So as Christian, after reading the church's history and not finding any younger creationists to fly open, impossible, but absolutely possible. But yeah, like I said, I believe the Jewish people believe that the earth is flat, but I don't believe God is trying to say within the Bible that the earth is flat. I think God always approaches people where they are, not where he wants them to be. So he had them write down an account of the story that the Jewish people believe about the origin of the earth. And it's not a scientific story, it's a theological story. It's God telling people why he's the best. And you shouldn't worship another God besides him, even if you believe that he's the best. There probably were some people in church history that might have taken a strict little reading of Genesis and that you can add everything up. But Archbishop Usher was in the first one that did that. But also, there was quite a few people that were like, it doesn't matter. What matters is God. That's right, it doesn't matter. Things came about or when things came about or why the Bible says everything seems to say better. It just matters. Younger creationism is ridiculous. But why is my species exterminated and dead as a dodo? Or is humankind still lost man? Well, after the meteor smashed and everything, you guys died and mammals thrived. So freedom to interpret the Bible. Martin Luther led the Protestant Reformation, said people should be free to read and interpret the Bible themselves. And Anne leads the younger creationist movement, so we must interpret the Bible as the only way on earth. One more. The modern YEC movement appears to be trying to pick the church backwards to the time where your own interpretation is discouraged and frowned upon. We need a creation reformation. The church needs to break free of the shackles of younger creationism and ignore dogmatic people who insist for evolution and intelligence. 100% agree, which is why I have this channel, which is why I debunk as much younger creationism as I can, and why I was going to do Matt Powell as the next Don't Listen to This Guy. But I'm having a lot of trouble editing my videos. I can chop them up fine, I go save them, and they go, sorry, can't read the video anymore, go away. So I was thinking of, doing something else, but maybe something's trying to tell me I should do him next, because he is the absolute worst at my way or the highway, YEC, a bad atheist and other people. And he'll deny it. He'll say, oh, but you can be a Christian. But he'll say so much stuff about how the only way to be a really good Christian is to take the Bible exactly the way it is. Bad. Picture on the left was taken in 1900. The right is 2015. It's the same tortoise. See? 115 years later, it's still a tortoise. Evolutionists own. So, I'm going to make the assumption that this was done in jest, it's satire. If it's not satire, then somebody really doesn't understand evolution. But yeah, it's funny. Evolution takes, not 100 years, but, thousands, millions, billions of years. How can you be so sure evolution is true? You've never seen them. We have evidence that indicates evolutionary changes. We have fossil evidence, biochemical evidence, and anatomical evidence. In fact, we can observe it directly by experiments. By your logic, how can you be so sure about your Jewish God created the world we're living in, despite the fact that you've never seen it? So yeah, that's true. Nobody ever saw God create the world out of nothing except but somebody writes it down in the book. Okay, well, God's word, you have to believe it. Somebody has massive amounts of evidence that the earth is that's the end of this video. I'll see how well this one does, if you guys seem to show an interest in it. And we'll look at some more. I'll throw my email address down here. So if you have a name you think I should go back to, you can either email it to me and I'll compile it. Or if it's something on mine, you can leave a link in a comment. And I'll gather them. Sorry. I will gather them up and we'll make another video with your names. That being said, please like, share, subscribe, all that stuff I'm supposed to say and sometimes forget to say. And let's look at a couple more.